Hi, hi everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. My name is Siobhan Bradley. I'm the manager of the Southwest Regional Skills Forum, and we have organised this webinar for companies with the education and training providers in the Southwest on funded upskilling programmes in the area of leadership and management. So just briefly at the outset on slide 1. We are going to have SkillNet speak on some of the shorter funded programs that they have. Then the ETBs will present on programs funded through the Skills to Advance initiative, a supervisory management and a leadership program. And then we're going to move on to the higher education institutes in the Southwest, and they're going to present on funded springboard programs that they have. UCC will speak first on a level 7 management practice. And then on the level 8, we have MTU Kerry, leadership and transformational change, and inclusion and diversity in MTU Cork. And then we have a level 9 with UCC in building workplace resilience in self and others. So just briefly at the outset, a little bit about regional skills and what we do and how we can help you. We are part of the Department of Further and Higher Education, and we work with local employers in the Southwest region. We help employers identify their skills and their upskilling needs, and then we signpost companies to education and training solutions in the Southwest to help address those needs. So our providers are all those who are here today: UCC, MTU, the ETBs and SkillNets. We work across the full occupational spectrum, so it can be entry-level skilled trades up to graduate roles and executives. There should be programs there to support you across all of those domains, and we'll help signpost you to those. And then we look at existing teams that you have for upskilling and also what's needed into the future in the talent pipeline. In terms of one-to-one supports then on the next slide, I suppose if you're unsure of where to start or you have wider skills needs, regional skills do one-to-one skills needs audits where we help you tease through your priority needs. And then we do customized signposting to what's there to help across a wide range of areas. If you need connections into education and training, we can help arrange that for you. And we also do new program development where gaps are there. We also have a special edition e-zine that we produce every summer of all of the upskilling courses across the providers, fee paying and funded, that are starting in the autumn, just to help in terms of logistics, of looking and figuring out what's there. We try to shorten that process for you through our e-zine, letting you know what's happening. And then on the next slide, just to state at the outset, I suppose leadership and management has been one of the top skills gaps that we have identified across companies since we began our work in 2016. Initially, the needs were very focused on influencing, managing, motivating teams. But as the years have gone on, I suppose the requirements have expanded a lot, looking more at resilience, collaborative approaches to teamwork, diversity and inclusion, the whole area of well-being as the workplaces have gotten more diverse in terms of how people work and where they work and so on. So a lot of the programs discussed today cover those newer areas of leadership and management as well as the more traditional ones. And in addition to the programs that are there today, it is important to note at the outset that there is a wider, more extensive list of programs available across UCC, IMI, the ETBs, with Enterprise Ireland, IDA and so on. So our focus today is really to help introduce you to some of the initial offerings across education and training, and we're zoning in on those that are funded or subsidised by the government. And if you need help on the wider range of options, then you're free to reach out to us and we can help signpost you in that way. So with that in mind, I guess we'll start into the presentations, and Gareth is going to speak first, Gareth O'Rourke from Cork Chamber SkillNets, on some of the key offerings that SkillNets have.
Yep, good morning, Siobhan. Just make sure I'm off mute. I am. Thanks very much for that, Siobhan, and thank you to Southwest Regional Skills for the opportunity to shed some light on the Skill that Ireland supports, and more importantly, thank you, Siobhan, your colleagues, for all the hard work you do for the Southwest region. As Siobhan said there, my name is Gareth Rourke from Cork Chamber Skillnet. Some of you may be aware of Skill Ireland, and some of you maybe not. Over the next 2 or 3 minutes, what I'll do is hopefully shed some light on the Skill Ireland supports available. Skill Ireland, just overall from a context perspective, they currently support over 22,500 businesses nationwide and provide a range of valuable learning experiences to over 86,500 trainees. Our objective is fairly simple: it's to facilitate increased participation in enterprise training and workforce learning in Ireland. How each network works is each Skill Ireland network, they get allocated funds from Skillet, and there will be sectorial networks and regional networks. And then our objective is to provide subsidized training in our region or in our sectors. So what we do is we provide training in the areas that we're currently in. So in Cork, for example, there's 4 networks. So there would be Cork Chamber, which is ourselves, Duhallow Skillnet, which would be Louise, some of you might be familiar with these people, ITA Cork Skillnet, which would be Annette, Biopharma Skillnet, which would be Susan, which would be a sectorial network along with Annette's. And then in Kerry, you have the 3 networks: you Rural Foods, John, Southwest Connaught, the Gate by Katie, and South Kerry, Big Gretel. There is, as I said, 70 in total. So if everyone has any specific sector they want to discuss with Skillnet or in a particular region, just let us know, or let myself know. I'll put my information in the chat later on, and you can touch, like, we'll signpost you there. Just in relation to our short-term programs, so we would have short-term programs, we'd have accredited programs, we'd have customized programs. So this is just a snippet of our short-term programs that we'd offer. So for example, over the last number of months, emotional intelligence would be to the fore. What we see just a trend developing: well-being, assertiveness, communications. Each network would offer them multiple times per year. So, like, for example, one network might do it twice, offer them out twice a month. Another network might do six or 7 every 2 or 3 months. So it can vary. It's very much client-centric and client-driven. So it can vary from, let's say, people might want an information session on emotional intelligence for their organization. It might be up to 2 hours, but then they might come back and they want the masterclass. So you can tailor it accordingly for 1 day up to 3 days. Again, before COVID, everything was in person. Now it's very much a mixture. It can be online or in person. Some companies are happy to do it online. Some companies want to do it in person. Again, we can facilitate both. Numbers-wise, then, it can vary. Again, look, we can do ones for large numbers, we can do ones for small numbers. But if you look at the focus and the skills, like for emotional intelligence, for example, you'd be looking at empathy and social awareness, all the whole well-being space, which is massive at the moment. You'd be looking at mental health. Diversity and quality inclusion is another one that we'd be coming across. Assertiveness, we're looking at conflict resolution there and how we deal with it. And then communications, the whole world of remote work is constantly evolving. We're looking at the hybrid world of work and how you manage that, how you deal with that, and how you manage employees remotely versus how you manage them in person. They're 2 slightly different. The funds, then, there's different types of funding that are available, but on an average, you're talking they'd be subsidized by 25%. Some of them then will be subsidized up by 100%. So again, it's sector specific or network specific, and you can just reach out and we'll do the best we can. Like, normally you have people who in your organization who be quite engaged in upskilling, and certain people less so. It can vary. You could have from the top down. It could be your senior leadership team, your directors down to your operations people, or sometimes it's the people who actually need the skills upskilling, don't want to do it. So sometimes they get put on the courses by their training provider, by their employees rather. So look, it's open to anyone. I suppose the moral we're trying to get across here, the moral of the story. Again, the size of companies that we would use, it can vary from multinationals that do the short programs, that you have your Pfizers, your BioMarin, your Apples, your Sanmina, down to your local SMEs. So it's kind of not a one size fits all, quite the opposite. So we've kind of different offerings, and we can tailor them accordingly. You know, the second slide there, if we can roll on to that there, it would be this is an example of a short program that we do as well. It'll be subsidized. It's IMI, so you're all familiar with the Irish Management Institute, I'd imagine. So we do different programs with them throughout the year. Like we would do essential skills in management. This particular one is the IMI Management Bootcamp. Normally we coincide it with the tertiary institution September, October intake. You see a lot of media over July, August, people promoting their training programs, which is fantastic. And we would align with ours with that. So this one, for example, the bootcamp would be 5 days. We ran them during COVID online. They tend to go back to blended now. But again, if a company wants specific for their 12 or 15 or 20 staff, we could do either or. The most recent one, we did 2 days in Dublin in the IMI, or you can do 2 days in UCC, and you can do 4 days online. So this one, you can mix and match whatever works. The bootcamp one, it's more so for staff who would have mid-management level experience, 4 or 5 years. They're looking to build on their existing management competencies and to give a comprehensive understanding of all the business functions. So behind what would actually entail when you peel it back, it would go through strategy, leadership, finance, marketing, and human resources. So just to make a more holistic approach. And again, look, an example of the companies there would be Hovio and Cognate, Aspire, LW Management. So look, in a nutshell, what we do is we help you identify the skills gaps, source leading trainers, adapt the content, and provide funding to help you get the most out of your training. Process is pretty straightforward. Our website is there. I'll put my details into the chat as well. We can point you, if it's within our own region, we're happy to do that within Cork or within Kerry, or if there's someone that's nationally who might be a sectorial network be relevant to you, we can signpost you towards that. But that's kind of a very short overview, but I'll put my details into the chat. If anyone has any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much, Siobhan.
Thanks, Gareth. That's great. And what we're going to do, every speaker, we're kind of giving 5 minutes so we get an overview of them all, and then we'll take questions and answers at the end. So feel free to put any questions into the chat in the meantime. But the next up, we have Niamh Gaina and Cassia Lyco from Cork and Kerry ETB. The ETB offer 100% funded programs through their Skills to Advance initiative for employers and employees. And they have 2 main programs in this space, a supervisory management program and a management and leadership program. And Niamh is going to chat through the supervisory management program first.
Thank you, Siobhan. Hi, everyone. My name is Niamh Gaina. I manage the business support function in Cork College of FET, which is part of Cork ETB. And I'm joined today by my colleague Cassia, who's from the business support function in Kerry College from Kerry ETB. So I'm here to talk about our supervisory management course. This is a QQI level 6 program, and it's really designed for anyone who wants to move into a team leader position. We offer these courses, both myself and Cassia offer these courses as what we call open courses. So they're available to anybody to sign up for it once that person is employed and indicates that they're employed on their application form. Then it's covered by the Skills to Advance funding from the government, which allows those in employment to upskill for up to 100% funding for eligible employees. We offer this program out both in the evenings, or we offer it in Cork as well, 1 morning a week as well. So it's really, we offer it in a way that suits you and suits your upskilling needs. As I said, the supervisory management program, we both tend to offer this as an open course that anyone can sign up for, but we can and we do offer this to specific companies as well. We have an engineering company that are looking at doing it just for their staff in the autumn term. In terms of delivery, it's a blended type of delivery. So our induction might be in person, our assessments will always be in person, but the rest of it, we're usually using remote teaching and learning. Now, for any companies that would prefer to have someone in person, there's absolutely no problem with that. Really, we work with the companies to ensure that we're providing the right service for you and the right fit for you. In terms of how the program is run, we said we run it either in the evenings or during the day, and it takes, we'll say, a college semester, so we'll say from September to Christmas. Class size, we try to keep it quite small, so we try to keep it around the 16 mark, just to have that, class interaction, that group interaction, and so on, and to have people share experiences and share ideas, because I think that's where real learning comes from. The module is all continuously assessed, so it's assessed by 60% skills demonstration and 40% portfolio. And I suppose the one thing that I would say about our programs for ourselves and for my colleague in Kerry ETB is that one thing we really try to do in the ETBs is really support our learners. If you have someone who's looking at trying to come back to education, maybe they've been out for a long time, that can be a really intimidating thing. So all our tutors will provide an awful lot of support to learners to ensure that they can succeed. You can see some of the different subjects that we would have there. We look at our learning outcomes, the responsibilities of a supervisory manager, how to recruit staff, draft procedures of work-related activities, and so on. So this is a lovely module as an introduction for someone moving to that team leader role, moving to that frontline management role. Our contact details are there at both of our websites, and I'll pop my own contact details into the chat as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me at the end. And I'll hand you over to my colleague Cassia now to talk about another program that we have for leadership.
Thank you so much, Niamh, for the introduction, and Siobhan for having me today and providing this opportunity to present today's webinar. So as my colleague Niamh has mentioned, we offer various different courses in Cork and Kerry TB that are run under Skills Advance initiative. So I'll focus on the qualifications in leadership and management, ILM course, which help learners to get to grips with the gain comprehensive knowledge and develop their technical skills that they need to lead their teams effectively. So the awarding body for this particular course is the Institute of Leadership and Management, ILM, and with an NFQ level 6 qualification on successful completion of the courses. There are 3 types of qualifications that can be achieved by a learner. It's the ILM award with 72 direct contact hours, and then ILM Cert 96 hours, and ILM Diploma 228 hours of direct contact. And in terms of the delivery type, so for the public course, it's online and 2 evenings per week. But of course, we work, as Niamh had mentioned, we work with each individual company, and we try and be flexible as much as possible. So we actually tailor the schedule to businesses' needs. So it's very flexible, can be delivered on site, online, blended. And in terms of the class size, so it's 16 learners per class when it's public. And then again, when we schedule the course for a particular company, then the numbers might be a bit lower. So the key subjects or the skills that we've chosen, basically these are the areas that have been considered most advantageous by employers so far. So it's the motivating people in the workplace, managing and implementing change in the workplace, solving problems by making effective decisions, understanding marketing for managers, and managing mental health in the workplace, and so on. So there's a list of 10 key skills that the course focuses on. And again, as mentioned by my colleague Niamh, in terms of funding that is available, it's up to 100% for eligible employees, taking that, the staff will be released. And the course is suitable for many different sectors: hospitality, manufacturing, retail, healthcare. And basically the program aims to equip employees who are currently performing or recently appointed to a supervisory management role with enhanced skills to lead and manage their teams effectively. And again, we have links to Kerry TB and Cork TB websites, and I'll put down my contact details in the chat. Thank you so much.
That's great, Cassia. Thank you so much for that. So they're the 2 main ETB programs, fully funded, delivered on a schedule during the year, and also available kind of bespoke for companies too, similar to the SkillNets ones. And now what we're going to do, I suppose, is move to the higher education offerings, and these would target people, I suppose, generally who are in management roles already and so on. And these programs are funded by the Higher Education Authority through the Springboard Initiative. So the first one of these is at level 7, and Ciara Staunton from UCC is going to chat through this.
Thank you very much, Siobhan, and good afternoon, everybody, and thanks very much for giving up your time on this gorgeous sunny day to hear about the offerings we have. My name is Ciara. I am the Manager of Academic Operations at Adult Continuing Education here at University College Cork, where we pride ourselves on delivering part-time flexible education opportunities for adults. We see over 2,000 students come through our doors, either virtually or physically at UCC. So we have a range of courses, and I would encourage anybody to go directly to our website at www.ucc.ie/ACE. But I'm going to talk to you about 2 specific courses today, as Siobhan mentioned, the first one being our Diploma in Management Practice. So this course is pitched at level 7 on the National Qualifications Framework. It's a 2-year part-time diploma. So learners will take 30 credits in each year. After completion of year one, students can exit with the certificate, and the certificate is fully funded through Springboard. So we are open for applications at the moment for this course. You can expect to take courses online on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 9:30, and that is interspersed with online or full day on-campus workshops over the course of the academic year. Like other providers, class sizes are relatively small to encourage peer engagement and peer-to-peer learning. The key subjects over this 2-year diploma, over the year one, we really focus on the management side. So you're looking at topics such as managing, an introduction to management, theory and application, managing yourself, managing other people, problem solving, decision-making processes, managing finances. As I said, year two then moves more into the leadership side, leading teams, introduction to marketing, how to affect change, and management and practice support. So clear delineation there across the 2 years. So fees and funding supports that are available. The cost of the program is €2,000 per year, paid in 2 installments. But as I said, Springboard funding is available for the certificate. That's the full year one of the program. There are entry requirements, as there are for all our courses. Applicants need to be over 21 years of age and have a level 6 qualification as a minimum, or 2 years relevant work experience. So again, very easily available to those working in the sector. Those may not necessarily have to have management practice per se, but do have to be working in the sector. We work very closely with a lot of industry, small, medium enterprises, as well as large industries in the design of our bespoke programs. And you can see there we have students and learners from across the board. So as I say, full details are available on our webpage, including a little video from the course coordinator, and information is fully available in terms of module content, assessments, timetabling, any of that detail that anybody requires. Please do get in touch.
Thanks, Ciara. That's great. So that's the level 7 certificate and diploma in UCC, the certificate part funded through Springboard. We're now going to look at 2 level 8 programs, one delivered by MTU Cork and one by MTU Kerry. And we're going to look first at the MTU Kerry cert in leadership and transformational change. And Breda O'Dwyer is going to chat to us about this.
Hi, thanks Siobhan, and good afternoon everybody. It's great to hear all the offerings that are available to people. Spoiled for choice is what's come into my mind. So it's great to have that opportunity, and I guess again to see them in the level 6, 7, 8 and 9. This one is at 8. It's a certificate in leadership and transformation and change, 15 credits, and due to start again in on September 11th. It is over the 1 academic year, 2 semesters, where we offer 1 module on semester 1 to allow people to get back into the routine if they haven't been involved in education for some time, and then we offer it again for 2 evenings then in the 2nd semester. Typically this is a Tuesday and a Thursday, and it is from 6 to 8. However, we do work with the group insofar as some people may prefer that we go 7 to 9, but typically it's 6 to 8. Class size traditionally to date has been in and around the 50 to the 60. I guess our choice for that, which is a medium size in one sense, is to allow for different breakout rooms, and in the breakout room sessions, that's where we find a lot of the actual conversations take place, significant learning takes place, and ultimately a lot of networking and future contacts subsequent to the program happen during those times. So they're in the sense that it's 2 evenings a week with a 2-hour commitment on each evening. That's in the 2nd semester. However, in the 1st semester, it's just 1 evening a week and 2-hour commitment. So that there are 3 modules, as it says, they're each equally weighted, 5 credits each. And the 3 modules are leadership mindset, leading transformational change, and people and performance management. And I guess for us, it's just that fundamentally, I suppose that whole area of leadership has to start and come from the self. So that module particularly focuses on self-evaluation, looking at our own potential, our own experience as leaders, how we can draw upon that, whether it's professional or personal life, and pull that forward and take learnings from that and see our capacity to lead, how we want to lead, where we want to lead, and looking at our own inner self in terms of pulling from those sources to drive it forward. We also then, I suppose, understanding that we have that opportunity to look at ourselves in depth. How do we then look at taking that forward and leading others? So module is on leading transformational change. And that, I suppose, is that we all fully realize that we're in a time of pace of change we've never experienced before, and we'll never go back to pre-COVID. Change is happening at unprecedented rates, and will continue to be like that. So we need to be in this environment of adaptable, flexible, mobile, agile, use whatever word we want. But I guess how do we handle that? How do we handle that with now the added challenge of a remote or hybrid workforce, and how do we take that forward? And I guess change for a lot of people doesn't always come with anticipation of anxiety. For some people, it can be anxious. For some people, it can be fearful. So how do we manage that? And we look at different models of change management and leading that. And I guess we do it from a transformational perspective, because we see that as being a very positive lens in looking what some people regard as negative, where they're moving from what they've known for a long time, but understanding that this is opportunity for growth. And fundamentally, then we've incorporated within that the notion of looking at people and performance management, where we're looking at allowing our colleagues within the organization to see how they can perform to their top and their optimum, and through that deliver on excellence. And I guess that's a little bit more operational driven, looking at some of the logistics around the whole process of enabling, empowering people to be their best, so that they can in turn lead through transformational change and fundamentally develop their own capacity, look at their own mindset and their own leadership abilities. That's the actual 3 modules of the program. We kick off with the leadership mindset, and then in second semester, we offer out the other 2 modules. The fees are 90% Springboard available, with the remaining 10% being paid before registration, which is a small sum of €110. I guess from the point of view of people that take the program, we would see it being relevant to people who were made to see themselves in functional leads within an organization. That could be research lead, it could be finance lead, it could be HR lead, whatever the various functions, marketing lead, digital lead, or leads or managers, people involved in talent management, be it in recruitment, retention, people involved as team leads within groups, center managers, division managers, strategic planners, supervisors. So I guess people who are fundamentally looking at bringing forward a team through times of opportunity, change, and helping them to achieve their excellence in doing so. The beauty of this program has been really the absolute fantastic mix of disciplines and sectors we've had on the program. So we go from anywhere from the community-based to the more social enterprise, to the smaller SME, to the larger FDI global corporate. And I guess the ability for people to interact and to learn from each other in those roles, in those type of organizations, through the breakout rooms, has, I've got to say, for us been one of the key wins of this program. So that's just some example of the type of people that are companies that are within this. And as you can see, we can have anything from the Irish Navy to the Garda Síochána to a fintech, global research, Japanese research institute, banking, to the whole area of the retail of Woodies, to the Sciences and Guilded Sciences Ireland, to then looking at the whole area of community and looking at SWIM or going into the health sector HSC. So it's quite varied, and that's just some examples of what we have, including companies in the pharma space as well. So again, the website to get information is on Springboard Courses. And if you do want more information, to contact our colleagues here in the Lifelong Learning through the Kerry point there at mtu.ie. So that's it from me, and thank you very much. Thanks, Siobhan.
Thanks, Breda. That's great. It's brilliant to see the range of companies taking it. I mean, it's just such a reoccurring need in every company, and you see it there through the diverse kind of set of companies involved in it. And the Springboard programs are equally as popular, I think, in terms of filling specific skills gaps as the E2B and skill nets for other areas. So the next springboard that we have is from MTU in Cork. And again, a very topical and growing area across the workplace of diversity and inclusion. And Dr. Deirdre O'Donovan is going to chat through this program for us.
Thanks, Siobhan, and good afternoon, everyone. It's lovely to be here, and it's great to hear the other programs that are on offer as well. So I'm here to talk to you about the Certainty, and I am the course coordinator for that at the moment. It is QQI accredited at level 8. One of the reasons we positioned it there is because it's part of our progression pathway in the Department of Organisation and Professional Development, where this sits. So this cert, while you can absolutely do it standalone for no other reason but to do this cert, can help you to gain access to our BA and HRM programs, to our Masters in HR programs, and to some of the programs in some of the other departments as well. So that's why we've positioned it here. Because it helps gain entry into other programs, we've put it at 20 credits. So you've got 3 modules that we'll chat about in a second. 2 of those are 5 credits and 1 of those are 10 credits. It will start early September. It hadn't been decided for definite the actual date when I was sending the slide in, but it's typically the first Monday of the 2nd week of September is when it starts. Similar to the last program that Brita was talking about, it's 1 academic year. Now that's on purpose. It's only 3 modules, but we felt when we were designing it, it would be a lot to expect people to come in and be able to do research off the bat, especially when people come from such varied backgrounds. So you'll have taught modules from 1 night a week, 6 to 10, typically Monday nights, online in semester 1, and we'll gear you up towards doing your project then in semester 2. So in semester 2, you're just working on your research project. There's no class, there's no teaching delivery, but you do meet with your supervisor. So you're not abandoned to go and work on your project. You'll be assigned a supervisor to work on your D&I project, and you'll just meet with that supervisor once a week. So that can be quite flexible in terms of delivery. Then in semester 2, we'd have people meet maybe on their lunchtime or while they're waiting to get the kids from the school at the school gate and things like that. So we can be very flexible in terms of when that supervision happens. It is fully online. It was always designed to be online, and part of that is because of the spread of interest that we were receiving when we were kind of putting out our initial feelers while developing the program. We've people from a number of different counties, so in person just wouldn't be practical for those learners. Originally, we had 15 max. The level of interest has been such that we have increased it to 25 at an absolute max. The ideal scenario really is about 20, because what we're really looking for here is your experiences. What are you working on? What are you finding? What are the D&I issues that you're experiencing or that colleagues are experiencing, or what are reports coming to you about? And then, well, how can we deal with those? How can we apply those to the learning that we're doing so that you can come up with suites of recommendations to fix those? So as I said, we have 3 modules. We've the D&I module, diversity law module, and diversity research project. The D&I module and the law module both being 5 credit modules. We're very workshop oriented in our delivery of those. So absolutely we're delivering content, but it's very much about the discussion and the application. So how would these things work in practice? With a view to being very practical focused and data driven in the decisions that we make when we are running D&I initiatives in the workplace. So in the D&I module, we look at what inclusion is, but what it is not. There can be quite a lack of understanding around inclusion when we start talking about D&I initiatives in the workplace. People often think it means stifling creativity and freedom of speech and things like that. And it's not any of those things, but it's about just being ourselves at work to the extent that we want to be, and whatever that looks like for the individual. So practically speaking, how do we go about being inclusive in the workplace? What is our role? What is the role of others? What framework can we put around enhancing perceived inclusion? How do we go about maintaining perceived inclusion when people have it? What are the things that can negatively impact perceived inclusion? Very strongly focused on our framing. So when we're doing things in the D&I space, we have to have a reason why. So we'll look at the business case and we talk about how we go about communicating that to employees. Something that we hear bandied around a lot in the D&I space is that it's nice to be nice. That's not untrue, but we do have to have business reasons as to why we engage in certain activities. And then we have the legal context, and that kind of brings you onto that law module. So while we're talking about our policy development and our framing in the D&I module, that's being complemented by the law module. So those modules have been written to work very closely together, and they keep referencing each other. Because of that, we've designed the assessments to be cross-modular. So you do have assessments. It is a level 8 program. There's 2 assessments for each of the 5 credit modules, but they're formative. They build into each other. And the second assessment is actually 1 assessment for both the law and the D&I module, because anything that we're doing has to be rooted in our legal system. So in that law module, you're looking at the legal system, you're looking at employment equality law, D&I specific law, and any legislation that impacts D&I activities that we might undertake. Then you have your research project. So your research project can be on absolutely any element of D&I. What we encourage people who are thinking of applying to do is start thinking about what that project might be straight away. Is there something that you're working on in the organization? Is there something that you've observed socially that impacts the organization? Try and have an idea, because you start moving on to it quite quickly, even though you're not going to start writing until semester 2. We will start the groundwork for the development of that project and the research question around it in semester 1. There's been a huge variety of projects so far. We've had people look at concepts like allyship. We've had people look at perceived understanding of inclusion. We've had people look at experiences of queer women across Ireland. People have explored the implementation of different D&I activities, the level of success of D&I activities. So you can be quite research oriented, quite academic in your approach. You can take kind of a social study, or you can be consultancy oriented. So you might have a D&I opportunity or issue that you've noticed in your organization. You might decide to do your project in a consultancy way, so that you're coming up with a suite of recommended actions for your organization. And about half of our students will go down that route. They're coming for a specific reason. What we're developing in that project is the ability to be data driven in our D&I choices. So making sure that we have the support of existing lit and employee needs when we're creating initiatives, because then they're more likely to work, and they're also more likely to be successful in terms of our framing in the organization. So with those modules, we're really looking at developing the confidence and the competence to develop appropriate D&I activities, whether it's policies, procedures, new initiatives in the workplace, and being very practically oriented when we do so, rather than purely academic. It's €1,500 at the moment. It's 90% funded via Springboard. Because it's level 8, you do need a level 7 to 2 minimum in a level 7 to gain entry to it. Again, because it's a level 8, you can use that then to access other full level 8 programs, or to access level 9 programs. We've had people from a lot of different companies and a lot of different roles. So we've had people in D&I specific roles, HR manager roles, HR business partner roles, managerial roles, supervisory roles. We've had people who've just started being exposed to ERGs, who know that this is the path that they want to go down. And we've had people in teaching roles, childcare roles, anywhere that they're working with people that they notice that there's a D&I issue or opportunity that's piqued their interest, have come into these roles, and then people looking into HR have gone in. We've had a wide range of businesses represented, again, like all of the other programs. We've had people from Bosair and Leia Healthcare, pharmaceutical sector, healthcare, further education. And for any more details, you can of course contact me. I'll pop my details into the chat there in a second, but there's an email, or there's a website link there for information on the modules and the fees, and when the date has been decided, it will go up there. Any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them at the end of the session. Thank you.
That's great, Deirdre. Thanks so much. A very interesting program, and one that definitely there's strong demand, very topical, and some way unique in terms of the amount of programs in that space yet through Springboard. We just had a question from Sandra there, and just to let everyone know, we will share all of the slides as soon as the presentation is over, and if anyone needs any introductions to anyone to discuss programs further, there's no problem in doing that at all. And we'll move on now to the last Springboard funded presentation that we're going to speak about, and this is in UCC again. It's a new program, and actually it's one that arose out of roundtables with the forum in COVID, when new challenges were being highlighted by so many companies in how to lead and how to manage dispersed teams and greater levels of anxiety and so on. So it's great to see it now up and running as a Springboard at level 9, and Ciara is going to chat through this.
Yes, just very quickly, Siobhan, thank you so much. And I was going to start with that this program was birthed during COVID, and as a result of this forum and discussions and feedback from companies around a clear need especially for resilience among not just managers, but staff, and how to deal with that transition, I suppose, to changing workplace environments that we all have to grapple with. So in fact, this program has proved since then to be extremely popular. We've had several iterations of it, because even though it is Springboard funded, it also attracts full fee paying students. It is that popular. We fill it twice over each semester. So this is a new award type that was introduced in UCC in ACE a couple of years ago. So it is a 10 credit certificate in continuing professional development, and it's pitched at level 9, so quite a high level on the NFQ. It's delivered over 10 weeks because it is one 10 credit module. It is delivered in a blended work format, in that we have online sessions on a Wednesday evening, and there is a full day-long workshop on a Saturday. Sorry, it's not blended, it is wholly online. There's another program that's blended that's very similar. The key subject site areas are very much housed in psychology and positive psychology specifically. It's about building personal resilience, exploring stress and stress reduction through mindfulness, establishing structures to support and promote wellness in workplace settings, and developing well-being coach skills to support others to build wellness and resilience. So as I say, this course is 90% funded through Springboard, and the kinds of individuals who have taken the program range from HR personnel, managers, health, safety and wellbeing officers, anybody interested in setting up wellness structures within their workplace setting, as well as those who wish to explore and develop personal resilience skills to manage stress and work-life balance, as I say, either themselves personally or in their role at management level within organizations. So examples again of some of the companies that have already availed of this course include Pfizer, PepsiCo, MSD, Dell, Munster Rugby, TELUS, Action, Alcon, etc. So very happy to direct people again to the webpage and to Pat O'Leary, who delivers this program. And the one little caveat also, a nice caveat, is that anybody who takes this 10 credit cert can also use it to access our full, we have higher diplomas and master's programs in mindfulness and well-being that are a nice progression routes after this particular cert in CPD. Thanks, Siobhan.
Thanks, Ciara. That's great. Good to see more micro credentials coming on board at the higher education level. So those are the programs that we were focusing on today. As I said, it's the funded programs or subsidized programs. So there you've seen a snapshot of everything from the shorter half-day ones with skill nets to the ETB level 5 and 6 is right up to those in specific areas such as diversity and inclusion for managers and for more experienced people in the workforce on building specific skills in resilience and workplace well-being and so on. So if there is any questions, we would be delighted to take them. I know there's a lot of offerings and it might help clarify which would be a better fit. We've all the speakers here and they're happy to stay on and answer any questions. So please do feel free to either raise a hand or put them into the chat box. And we'll give you a minute or two to do that now. And you're also free to turn on your camera as well if you want to, as you ask a question, if there's anything we can clarify on what's there, whether it's from the funding perspective, delivery mode, whether it can be done bespoke for yourselves or anything else at all. Okay, so we'll just give that a minute, and actually just when we're waiting to see if anything comes in, I'll ask one quick question. I suppose, would there be a specific example or company that you could think of in those programs, say the Skills to Advance programs as an example, where they would have looked at their whole leadership-wide team and how to address and kind of build a strong team approach to management together through the leadership and management?
Yeah, absolutely. Siobhan, I can take that there. So Cork College of Ed has partnered with the Trigon Hotel Group around rolling out their leadership management suite programs to them. And what they did was they came to me, they had a training analysis done about where they saw their gaps were. I then matched those gaps to the different modules that they had. So they wanted things around conflict, stress management, delegation. And then what they did is they took a really structured approach to it as well. So we've 3 levels of the program that we deliver there. One is for people who are just starting off in their leadership journey. They may not be in a leadership role at the moment, but they're just dipping their toe in the water. One is the emerging leaders, for those who are in a team leadership role but need that qualification, need that training in it, I suppose. And then their executive team are doing what we call the complete leader program, which is at level 6 ILM, where they're looking at their entire leadership team and I suppose really embedding the whole methodology across the company. And it's been really successful so far. So we're delighted with it and the approach that they've taken with it.
Okay, that's good. So different models can kind of be built around to suit the group. I see there's
Absolutely,
a couple of questions that have just come in, so we'll ask these first. John was asking, would many students be already working in management roles? And that would probably vary across the programs, but maybe just from Deirdre and Ciara first, I'd say on the diversity and inclusion and resilience, they probably are already in management or more experienced roles, are they? Would that be correct?
No, in the start, I just responded to John there. In the start, we have quite a spread. So we do absolutely have people in managerial roles and business partner roles, but we have had recent hires, new employees, recent graduates, right up to those senior roles.
And Ciara, the work-based resilience?
Same, Siobhan, not necessarily more so in the diploma in management practice, but in the workplace resilience, it's actually applicable to those working outside of the management structures because it can focus on the self as well. So there is a mix.
Okay, and then the leadership, Rita, and the management practice, are they mainly some experience in management when they're taking those programs?
Quite often they would be, yeah. So
Yeah.
there would be people who are seeking to go the next level up. And they're possibly currently in middle management, or so they're going the next. Typically that would be the case. So and again, I suppose for us that's an important aspect of it, because it has to be applied back to the workplace. So the more they can apply it at that level and learn it, then they can share it back with the groups. That said, there are people who come on it and they haven't had that level, but typically it would be, yeah, it's from middle up.
And the management, the UCC management program, that would be the same, Ciara, would it?
It's very same to Deirdre. Yeah, you're kind of looking at middle management, new into the management role, plus those who are kind of seeking to move further up along the management structures.
Okay, and the ETB programs, then they wouldn't necessarily be in management programs. They could be transitioning into them from other roles. And Garrett, on the skill nets front?
Yeah, the DIMI ones, they would tend to have 3 or 4, 5 years experience. The majority on it.
And the shorter ones then would be open, kind of.
Yeah, they'd be mixed, very much mixed across the board.
Yeah, okay. And that's perfect. That makes it a bit clearer. I think it does, according to John anyway, so that's helpful. And Orla is just asking, my understanding of education levels is level 8 is honours degree and level 9 is masters. Can a cert at one of those levels be used to build a degree masters as well as gaining entry to full programs?
I think the answer, I mean, others can speak as well. The answer can be, it's not an outright no, each one differs, but typically the reason something is called a cert is because it's less than 60 credits. If it's 60 credits, it's a diploma, and if it's above that, it's a master's, and that's quite a differentiates them. I think you're very right in saying there are 6, 7, 8, and 9, and they're all different levels of knowledge. So yes, they can be used for entry at that level, or if they're pre that level, pending on what's also used is what we call RPL in the sector, which is recognized prior learning. So you may well have a lot of experience at that level, and then where you're able to evidence that in the relevant application form, that's also taken into consideration. So it certainly opens doors. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. That's great. And the RPL is important as well, I suppose, for people who might be very experienced, but mightn't necessarily have completed certain levels. There is an option to have that work experience or looked at as well.
And I think it's going to become more and more important, Siobhan, as well, as we move forward in the whole area, excuse me, of the upskilling and reskilling, whereby there are people who may be in very senior roles,
Yeah.
and the experience they have has been evidenced to be enough for them to go into a master's program, even though they may not have an honours degree, but nonetheless, with the number of years experience and the type of experience, it has allowed entry. So it's important to take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Just because you don't have that prior qualification doesn't mean the door is closed.
That you're not suitable for that program or that you won't be considered. Yeah.
Just reach out to.
Yeah. John O'Leary has a question there. Is there courses available on employment law that would be recommended for HR members or middle management levels? And there are the ETBs have a level 6 introduction to employment law. We can send the details on those. Would there be anything else on employment law or HR members that you'd like to highlight here?
I know Griffith do a certain employment law, and I know CPL have an employment law qualification as well. I think they're both level 6 programs. We're looking at developing an SPA in employment law for HR next September, but that wouldn't run until the September the year after then. But at the moment, I do know that a lot of the kind of professional body providers would have certs in employment law.
Yeah. And John, we can send you those come out in the e-sign, the upskilling e-sign in the summer, all the employment law options. So we can send those on to you for the next September start. And again, because they're with the ETB, they're part-time and funded, and then there are some fee paying options as well. So we will send those on to you. I'll just see if there's any final questions before we close out. There's a lot of thanks to the speakers, which is great. And thanks to all of you for your time today. We hope that you found the session useful. We will share all the slides with you afterwards, and we'll just ask you to complete a short survey of the programs that were most relevant to you. And if you need to be connected in with anyone at all to discuss further, or you need to look at wider options outside of what was discussed, you can let us know in that survey pool at the end. And with that in mind, we're just coming up to 1 o'clock, so it's a perfect time to finish. So thanks to Breda and Deirdre from MTU, Ciara from UCC, Garrett from SkillNet, Cassia and Niamh from Kerry ETB, and to all of you today for taking the time to attend and hear what's on offer.
Great. Thanks, man. Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.